Hello everyone, you're welcome to this video. My name is Valentine Okolo, and today we're going to be continuing our series that we started in a couple of videos before, the series on turnaround strategies to help you with your business. So if you're struggling with that business, or probably you just need to learn some business strategies, you're in the right place. We've had a couple of videos earlier before when we're talking about turnaround strategies to help you turn around that ailing or dying business. We started with a couple of video series. We've had 3 video series before this one. We had the first video series on differentiated service delivery. We had this and budgeting strategies. We had the other one on risk management strategies, and then we had the third video on asset management strategies, and all of these we captioned it under what we called policy strategies. So if you've not seen any of the last 3 videos, I would encourage you to go look for them and watch them. You would need them to be able to understand the trajectory we are currently on, so that you cannot be left behind. You understand what we have discussed before, and then you understand this video as well going forward. So today we're going to be going into the marketing and distribution strategies, and I'm sure you're very interested in this. Everybody is interested in this because it's directly tied to your sales, and your sales is directly tied to your profit margin. Okay, so if your business is not doing too well, you're struggling with the numbers, then you very much be interested in the marketing and distribution strategies. Now, before we get into the meat of the matter, have you subscribed to this channel? If you have not subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button right now as I speak. Hit the subscribe button so that you can continue to receive more engaging content, more educational content from this channel. Now, with that being said, let's get right into the meat of the matter. Today we'll be discussing marketing and distribution strategies, and there are 3 aspects to this that we're going to be discussing. Of course, we will not be able to cover all 3 of them in this particular video, so we're going to take just one part of it, and that part is going to be expanding your total market demand. Expanding your total market demand. In the next 2 videos, we'll take 2 different topics as well on the marketing and distribution strategy, so I'll keep that one to myself for now so that you can join me in that next video. But in this one, we're going to be talking about expanding the total market demand. So stay with me. I'm going to be taking you through it, and I'm going to be as simplistic, if I can use that language, as I can, so that everyone can follow me. So what does it mean to expand your total market demand? Of course, you know that demand is the willingness and the ability. So it must be backed by the ability to pay for a service or a product. Okay, so one, the customer must be willing to purchase that product, and secondly, it must be backed by the ability to pay. And with that, we can say demand is complete. Okay, so now that we've been able to get the definition of demand, we now know that to increase market demand, if you can increase market demand, then you can increase the propensity for you to sell. And with that, your sales can go up, and then you can have a better profit margin that can pull you out of that struggling business. So how do you expand your market demand? It's a numbers game. It's all about taking your numbers up. Okay, this can be done by using lead generation strategies. Of course, remember I told you we're going to do a course on lead generation that's going to be more in depth. In this video, we're just going to scratch the surface. Okay, but in that course, it's going to be a 14 video series. Of course, not going to be on lead generation alone, to be on marketing as well. We're going to have customer retention strategies as well, so you don't want to miss those 14-part videos. Okay, they're going to be in-depth, intensive, and they're going to be free, and there's going to be a free certificate for those who are willing to complete all of the 14 videos. So I'll keep all of those information till next time, but just have it in mind. It's going to be free for those who are going to want to complete all 14 videos. So lead generation strategies, when we talk about it, we're talking about strategies that you use to introduce your product or your service to the market or to the customer, potential customers, of course. So what are we trying to do with lead generation strategies? We're trying to introduce the product or service to those who are not aware of it, to those who may be aware of it, they don't use it, or we are looking at those who are aware of it, they probably use our product or service, or they use it sparingly. That is, they're not repeat customers. They just use it once or twice, that's it. Okay, so but we want repeat customers, because that's where the money is. You want a customer to keep coming again and again and again. You don't want a customer to just come and buy once and ghost you. You want the person to keep coming back. That's the essence of it, and that's the essence of what we're looking at. So in order for us to achieve that, we have to turn those leads into sales, right? If we want to increase our total market demand, we need to turn lead generation to sales. We need to turn those customers, potential customers, we need to get them on board. We need to make the sale. Okay, so how do we do that? That's the question. How do we do that? Okay, one of the ways we can do it, I'm going to talk about several ways briefly in this video. We're not going to go into much detail. Probably when we're going to do the 14-part video series, we'll go into a little detail on some of these things. But for now, we're just going to scratch the surface, just give you an idea of what you need to do, okay, when it comes to increasing the demand for your product, increasing the demand, because it's all down to that. It's all down to the sale. If you're not making the sales, there's no business. If you're not making the sales, your business will go down. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you're doing. It doesn't matter. Anything that you're doing to generate income for you, whether it's passive income, whether it's active income, whether it's on-site, whether it's virtual, whatever you're doing. I'm creating this video now. A lot of people do VA works and all kinds of things online. They are also business. So anything you call your business, anything you intend to earn money out of, you have to increase the demand for it. And one of the ways to do that is through advertising. Okay, so you have traditional medias, you have social medias. Okay, so there's a lot of avenues, but you need to look at your market. Where is your market situated? What's the age audience? How best can I reach them? Advertising is useless if you've not answered those questions. Where are they? Where do they gather? What do they like doing? These are the questions you need to ask. So if you're targeting a particular group of people or particular age group of people, maybe you're targeting the younger generation, they call them Gen Z, for instance, you know that you're going to find them on social media. The older generation may not so much be on social media like the younger generation. So if you're targeting very young guys, you go to social media, you get them over there. Okay, so you can use social media, you can use the print media, you can use that's the print media, those are traditional media, TVs and radios. You can use different avenues. Okay, they are all advertising. So you just look at what works best for you, but by and large, you need advertising. It's one of the ways you can quickly tap into a market that you don't readily have access to. Advertising works best when there's an audience that you want to tap into. For instance, you want to advertise on Facebook. You're not just going to Facebook because you want to go there. You're going there because there's an audience already on Facebook you want to tap. Or maybe you want to tap from YouTube, you want to tap from LinkedIn, for instance. You know there's a particular audience that is there. So if you're going for LinkedIn, for instance, then you know you're targeting the working class. Okay, you're targeting the working class. You're targeting a certain group of people. And you can do these ads. The good thing about these ads is that you can make them targeted. They can be targeted ads. So most of these advertising platforms allow you to tweak your advertising so that you can reach the exact kinds of persons that you want to reach. Okay, another way you can do it to increase your total market demand is to go into media outreach, press releases. Those can also call some form of advertising as well. You can also do that. That can help you to increase your total demand. Something you can also try is what we call cold calling. Cold calling. Some companies hire persons to do cold calling for them. Sometimes you receive these calls. Some people like to see them as spam calls, but hey, people do cold calling. And sometimes people these days, people don't even really spam you like that. They could come into your space. You know, some people, you see them on LinkedIn, they get friends with you, they create that network, and then, you know, there's a rapport building, and before you know it, somebody's trying to introduce something to you. Those are cold calling techniques. Okay, so cold calling is another way to generate leads. So you look at where the people you are targeting are situated, and you can do cold calling. Some kinds of traditional marketing, I also view them as cold calling. For instance, you see people who marketers who walk into an organization, they don't know anybody there before, they've never worked there, they don't have any relationship there, but they just walk in there and then they introduce their products or service. That's cold calling. Okay, see that as well as cold calling, because you don't have any link there. You just came in there to just advertise, and oftentimes if they need it, there's a sale goes on. So cold calling is another way to generate leads. You can have a list of people you're targeting. You can have a list of network stations, um, individuals, organizations, depending on what your product or your service is. Just have a list. Have a list. If you're going to do cold calling, you need a list. Look at it, get a list, and then you start taking them one after the other. Another way to look at expanding your total market demand is to look at geographical expansion. Okay, so um, where are you currently located? What kind of business are you doing? Is it online? Is it offline? If it's offline, is it in a particular city? Do you have the capacity to expand it beyond your city? Have you taken advantage of your city? Because it's one thing to take advantage of your city, it's another thing to jump into another city, even when you've not fully taken advantage of the city where you currently reside or your domicile. Okay, so that's very important. You need to take advantage of your own city, your own location. You need to take maximum advantage of that. And if you've done that, then you want to look at expanding. You want to look at going to more cities, more towns, more countries, more nations, more continents, depending on how you're looking at it. But you can't generally expand total demand without thinking of geographical expansion. Okay, you just have to consider geographical expansion. Now, the big names out there, the big companies out there, they always think of geographical expansion. Where are we not operating right now? Where can we enter? What's the market size? What's the interest in the market? Do they have an interest in what we're going to offer? Is there a demand there? And then if they do the analysis and there's a demand there, then you know it's time to do another geographical expansion. So geographical expansion into new areas where your products are not really well known, those are things that you also need to consider. And something else you need to consider is what I call demographic expansion. So now you're trying to increase your market demand. You have to look at demographic expansion. What kind of persons? For you to do demographic expansion, you need to do an analysis of the kind of persons that currently use your product or your service. Okay, you need to know what countries they are. You need to know what cultural backgrounds they are. You need to know the sexes they are. Probably more males are using it, more females are using it, or you need to know the age groups of people that are using it. Maybe the people that are using it are probably the younger folks between 18 and 24 or 25 or 26, and you know that this product actually serves across a larger age group, or probably is good for both male and female. You know that the product is good for both young and old, but you notice that only the young guys are using it. So it's time to do a demographic expansion. You need to get the other sets of persons that are not currently using it. Okay, you need to get them in. This is what we call demographic expansion. I remember the recently concluded elections in the United States of America, and I don't want to mention names, but there were some complaints that a particular set of persons were not coming into the voting block, and so you saw politicians making moves to get those sets of persons to come vote for them. That's a demographic expansion. Okay, you know you need a voter base, a particular voter base that have a particular sex, particular race, particular age groups, and then you target them so that you can expand and get it in addition to what you already have as your base. Now, something else you can look at when you're trying to do your total market expansion, you have to look at the psychographic segmentation. Okay, so when you're looking at it, you're looking at it from psychographic. Okay, what do we mean when we talk of psychographic? We're talking about lifestyle, we're talking about taste, we're talking about interests, your values, your social affiliations, what you believe, your beliefs. And a lot of times we think that organizations, we see people complain that companies are indirectly siphoning our data, looking at our patterns and our habits. They do this mostly for advertising, okay? Because when they understand your usage habits, they're better able to tailor products that align with your usage habits. That's why probably you see that when you're watching a particular set of videos, such videos keep getting suggested back to you because the algorithm has been programmed in such a way that it recognizes what you like. Now that is what we call psychographic. Okay, they look at what you like, what you believe, what's in your lifestyle, the kind of things that you're most likely to accept, and then suggest those things to you. So when you want to expand your business, you want people who actually reason with what you're offering. You want people who are thinking the way you're thinking. You want customers who already have the same beliefs, the same understanding, cultural affiliations with what it is you want to offer. And then you want to go into that market to expand it. Another way you can expand your total market is to introduce what we call new variants. You can introduce new features, you can introduce new variants to the product or to the service. You know, you can add it, you can tweak it a little bit, bring in something a little bit more exciting, okay, something that could cause people to stay. Probably you have an eatery, okay, and then you can tweak it a little bit. Your food is nice already. Of course, we talked about differentiated service delivery. We're not going into all of that. So that's why I say you have to watch all the previous videos before this one. So you have a differentiated service delivery. It's wonderful. And then you've taken care of your assets. They're wonderful. So now you want to tweak. You want to expand your market. So what do? You notice that there are a lot of people who probably need their cars washed. You can get that as a side service, or you probably notice that they need something a little bit extra. You have to be very smart about this. You have to tweak, bring in new features, bring in new products, bring in new services, probably even offer something free that you can add with that and try to grab that market. And that takes me to the next point, which is to offer products or services in bundles. Okay, so now you want to increase the market, so you can say, okay, we're going to give you XYZ for a cheaper amount. We're going to give you XYZ ABC. We're going to bundle it together for you. Probably if you're buying it individually, it's all going to cost you $100. But now you're buying this entire bundle for $60. And the customer is like, wow, where else can I get this? And then you've tapped into a new market over there and use that to increase your market demand. Okay, probably you may also want to look at products that are not doing too well. Maybe you have more than one product. You have one, two, three, four, five products that you offer, and you notice that one of them is not doing too well, or one, two of them are not doing too well. This works perfectly in that direction. One, you can do what we call a bundle service. Okay, so you sneak that one that is not doing too well into the overall bundle, introduce all of them to the customers, and then customers who probably have not tried that before could now have an opportunity to try it, and they're like, wow, never knew this was so nice. And then the demand for that particular product that was not doing too well begins to pick up. Okay, so it's a good way to introduce a product that is not doing too well. It's a good way to introduce a new product or a new service, so that instead of you to start struggling with marketing for the new product, for the new service, you do advertisement, you spend a lot of money, you can do bundles. You sneak it into the products that are already doing well, then you push it into the market. By the time people you get the product gains market acceptance, then you can now pull it out and allow it to thrive on its own. Another thing that I would say is to introduce lower cost options. And did I talk about that in my first video? Can't remember if I talked about. I think I talked about that. We're talking about lower cost options. I think I mentioned that in that first video, so you have to look at that as well. But just speaking about that briefly, you want to be well priced in the market. Okay, you don't want to be the highest cost priced, but it all depends on what you're offering anyway. If you're offering something superlatively wonderful, then probably the price may justify it. But imagine if you're offering something superlatively wonderful and you're still giving it at a budget friendly price, then you've won the market. Okay, so you want to look at your price offerings. That's another way to expand your total demand. You can offer a pricing that is highly competitive, that cannot be matched or be difficult for anyone to match within your niche. So that's something else you can do. And something that works perfectly well, I'm going to talk about now, is what we call free products, free services, trials, samples. They work like magic. If you're looking for lead generation strategy, number one, I'll tell you, everybody likes free stuff. You have to be ready to give out some stuff for free. You just have to be ready to do that. You can't bill everything. You need to let people to understand what you have to offer. You need to let people get a taste of what you have to offer. You need to get people to see the benefit of what you have to offer. So you need to be able to render some free quality service, something that has good quality, something they're going to appreciate, and then you offer it. And then maybe somewhere down the line, when the people have seen the value you have to offer, then you can now decide to charge for some of your products or services. That's a good way to increase your market. Of course, another way to do this free product or service is when you're introducing a new product or a service, people are not used to it, people have not understood it, people have not tasted it. Some people may be wary about spending money on something that they've not really tasted. A good way to get them to have a taste of it is to offer a sample or a trial for a free product or a free service for a particular period of time. Okay, you can come test this, you can come have this, you can have it for free, so that they can see the value in it. And when they see the value in it, then you don't have to press them any longer. They will come back on their own, and then you can use that to build their total market demand. Something else you can do apart from all of these things I mentioned is networking. Now, in networking, you need to go out there, you need to meet people. Depending on what you're doing, you're offering a product, you're offering a service, you can't stay in a vacuum. You have to go out there. People need to know what you're doing, people need to know what you're offering, people need to see the value in what you have to offer. And there's no better way to do it than to network. You can network through traditional events, you can network through conferences, through meetings, through online communities. Find people who share like passion with you. Go to places where your audience are likely to be gathered or likely to be, and then you network with them. People feel generally more comfortable when they're buying from somebody that they have a relationship with than when they're buying from somebody that they don't have a relationship with, and that has to do with a trust issue. So the easiest way to melt trust, to break the barrier, is through networking. So networking is something you need to consider if you're looking to expand your total market demand. Okay, now don't forget social media marketing. We talked about that in advertising partly, but the reason why I'm bringing it up again is because social media marketing is not all about advertising. You can still do social media marketing without necessarily advertising. Okay, there are a lot of ways you can position yourself on social media. There are a lot of ways you can position your brand, you can position your product. You need to send out engaging posts, you need to send out engaging content, you can send out engaging videos. You can do a lot of things on social media. You can advertise on social media, actually, even WhatsApp, Facebooks. You can advertise to your networks, to your connections. The only reason why you may want to consider advertising is if you want to tap into connections that you don't already have. But for the ones you already have, of course, you can do marketing. So social media marketing is something you want to consider you want to consider webinars, you want to consider blogging, there are a lot of other tools you can deploy to expand your total market demand. Okay, so I think we've had this video for over 24 minutes now, I think. Don't want the video to be too long, so we're going to cut it at this point. I hope you did learn something today, and if you did, I would like to also use this medium to invite you to our free upcoming 14-part video series that is going to be on lead generation, sales, and customer retention strategies for profitability. The video is going to be completely and absolutely free, and there's going to be a free certificate for it. I'll be giving you exact details on that much later. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Once again, I want to sincerely thank you for watching this video to the end. Now, if you're looking to discover more strategies for your business, please head over to KDP Amazon and buy my book, Winning Crazy Customers. You'll be more than glad that you did. That book is filled with strategies that could help you build your customer base. Now, also, if you're looking to hire a virtual assistant who can help you with administrative or operational support, you can send me a personal mail at valentineokolo@hotmail.com. If you also need a business analyst to help you with business advisory services, also send me a mail at valentineokolo@hotmail.com. Now, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video.